Good morning, year three. I hope you're well and you've managed to connect with your Zoom call earlier with Miss Ashford and Mr. Day. And I also hope that you've been able to get on with your work for the last few days. Miss Ashford, I know getting in touch with you about it, so I look forward to hearing from how well you've all been doing. And I'm sure the children who are in the key worker class will be working really hard as well. Guys, I can't wait to see it all. I know you've been working really hard and I know this is strange for you. Today, you're going to be thinking mainly about the four times table. That's your second video. But the first video with me, I'd like to just go over some learning from when you were younger around our 3D shape and the faces of them. So we talked a little bit before about the idea that we've got 2D and 3D shapes. Okay, and these 3D shapes are ones that we can touch, ones which we can engage with differently, so with our sense of feeling. And if we think really simply, we don't talk about this being a side. We talk about the front of our head is a face. Okay, and that's the same idea with 3D shapes. That because they're something that's got not a side, but they've got a face, and the language therefore that we use is a face. Okay. Now here, just to revisit, we've got some 3D shapes. We've got a cylinder, a cube, a sphere, a pyramid, and a cuboid. Can you see which one's which? Now, if you're they haven't got letters on, but maybe what you can do is say the first one's number one. So what's one is that cylinder or cube. Write a number for each one and see if you can identify which one's which. Pause the video while you do that, please, year three. Okay, we'll have a look at these now. So the first one is a cube. The second one's a cuboid. A similar word, but slightly different ending to it. The third one's a cylinder. I imagine most of you got that. You'll probably like a few Smarties. A sphere, we like a bit of sport, don't we? And we also like living on our world, our globe, which is a sphere. And finally, we've got a pyramid. And I know that you fantastic ancient Egyptian historians are going to be looking at lots of pyramids from 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. Okay, so guys, we've got those 2D shapes, sorry, those 3D shapes. Now we're going to think about which one of these has got five faces. So remember, faces with 3D shapes is the elements that we can, the flat. And so with these, flat or the whole side. So with these, which of these do we think has got five faces? Okay. Do we think the triangular based pyramid? Do we think the triangular prism? Do we think the cuboid? Or do we think the cone? Which of these four 3D shapes has got five faces? Lots of us will have identified there's two endpoints to that triangular prism, and then there's three other faces. Now, the best way of thinking about a triangular prism, if you ever are not sure, Toblerones, okay? They're triangular prisms, okay? Now, one of these has six flat faces and zero curved surfaces. So is it the square-based pyramid? Is it the cube? Or is it the triangular prism? Which of these three 3D shapes has got six flat faces? Try and work through that. Pause the video if you need a second. Okie dokie. The one that's got the six faces is cube. Okay, so a square box. I'm very chocolatey today, so I'm thinking very chocolate orange. Not the sphere, but in the box it's a square face that it's got. So it's got six square faces to make that cube. Okay, the sentence here. This shape has flat faces and curved surfaces. Copy the sentence out, but don't write You've got to fill in where I've said with a number, please. So pause the video, copy the sentence, and see if you got the correct answer. Five flat faces because we've got one for each of the elements that are raised off the ground, and then we've got that base at the bottom of the square base pyramid, but there's zero curved surfaces. Okay, so these 2D shapes on the right hand side, which one can you see on the flat faces of the 3D shapes? So think about the flat faces of that cylinder, that triangular pyramid, and that cube. Which shape can we see that are on the 2D shape on the side? So which one matches the 2D shape to the face of the 3D shape? So do you think A goes with one, A goes with two, A goes with three? What do you think with that cylinder? It goes with the circle. Yeah, the triangular based pyramid with the triangle and the square with the cuboid. Okay, right, guys, there's four shapes here. Which of these shapes is the odd one out? And see if you can identify why. Okay, so one of these is different to the other ones. Which one and why? Oh, not sure, not sure, not sure. Give you a bit of help. Okay, it's C. So it's that one that's different to the other three. Why is C different? Have a look at C now. Have a real think. Pause your video. Look, look, look. What's different about C compared to A, B, and D? Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, hopefully you spotted that. It's the only shape that doesn't have any curved surfaces. Sorry, I'm in the way of your answer. It's the only one that doesn't have a curved surfaces. So our cone for A, our sphere for B, and our cylinder for C, sorry, for D, all have curved surfaces, whereas C only has flat faces, Okay, guys, we'll move on now. What I'd like you to do this week, you're going to try 7A, 7B, 8A, and it should say 8B. It says 8A twice. Don't know why that is, guys. Have a go at those four questions. Pause the video while you do it, and we'll look straight away at the answers. So copying those sentences out for 7A and 7B, and then matching the ones for 8A and 8A. It's repeated itself. Pause the video now. Let's see how we did. Okie dokie. 5 flat faces and 0 curved surfaces, and 6 flat faces and 0 curved surfaces. And then for 8, we've got square, triangle, and circle. I'm sure you've got those because you're matching your 3D shapes to your 2D shapes. And then we've got our circle, our triangle, and our rectangles. And then for C, it's that circle. Okay. Hopefully, somebody spotted for the second one then, for 8B, that the B you've got a triangle at the end of the triangular prism, but then there's 3 rectangles. Okay, and as I say, the best way to double check is get some Toblerone. Okay. Okay, dokie, guys. If you were successful with those previous ones, have a look at this. If not, could you go on a bit of a shape hunt for me? Can you see if you don't have any Toblerone? Can you find any other triangular pyramids in the house? Can you find any other triangular prisms? Can you see if, like me, you've got anything that could do as a cuboid? Can you see if you can spot anything in your house that looks like it could be a cylinder? Can you see what you can find? If you've done that, great. Maybe send a photo or two of Mr. Dow on your 3D treasure hunt. Now have a go at these other questions. And again, our numbers and our letters have got a bit mixed up. We've got 9A and 9A, and then 10A and 10B. So what you've got to do is spot with 9A which one's got 6 faces, which one with 9B, it should say, has got 5 faces. Looking at 10A, 2 together, when we add 2 together, they've got 7 flat faces, and then 2 together for B and 10B, they've got 7 flat faces. So let's see if you can do that. Pause the video while you think about that. Great stuff. If you've got A and D as 6 faces, so the cuboid and the cube, and then C is our triangular prism that we've got for C, which has 5 faces. The triangular prism and the cylinder could combine, so 5 the 4 faces of the triangular the 5 faces, the 4 faces of the triangular, the 5 flat faces of the triangular prism and the 2 flat faces of the cylinder, and then there's the additional curved surface for the 7. And then for 10B, we've got the cone, which has 1 flat face, and the cuboid, which has 6. So 1 adds 6 makes 7. Well done if you've worked through that. Okay, and then we'll have a look at the final element of our lesson, which is the sheet relating to your next video. Now, when you're working through this, I've been really impressed by the work you've been doing, guys. I really like the fact that you're not all able to print it out. I don't like it, but I like the fact, despite that, you're showing perseverance and you're powering on for having a good go at these sheets. Now, you've got the sheet in your other video and as part of your work. If you have a look, where you're looking at your pictograms, a thing to remember is that bottom circle tells us that each one of those circles is worth 4. Now, each one of those circles, you'll also know, and you'd know this from year 2, needs to be the same size. So when you're doing a pictogram, you've got to think about what the key is. So that's the point that tells us it's worth 4. But you've also got to ensure that your representation, so the way you indicate those, is the same size each time. So you've got to make sure both of those things are true, because otherwise the pictogram just becomes a bit confusing. It might be a nice picture, but it's not a useful mathematical tool. So try and be really careful with your drawing or your layout of your pictogram. Thank you for listening so well, year 3, and I look forward to seeing all that wonderful work. Oh, sorry, just one thing. Sorry about Teddy and Eva. I forgot to say. Teddy and Eva. Teddy said something. He said that some of the numbers in the 4 times table are even, but not all of them. Eva said something else. And when you're saying who you agree with, make sure you really, really explain it. Maybe you can explain it not just with words, but with numbers. You can show some evidence. So think about how you can explain it. So really, really try and show with some number sentences or some numbers how they're right or they're wrong. Okay? Good stuff, year 3. Thank you for listening so well, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.